So if I take apart all hundreds of these Jeeps, you would think I'd have like a nice organization of used parts. I've got it. I'm not gonna say it's nice though. Let's go check it out. It's not gonna be a video about business, but it's one thing I've done is stayed out of debt, and I think that really helped out a whole lot. Let's check out some of this nonsense stuff here. So there's the back of my shop right there, and then if you walk around here, that's where I keep metal. That building I just moved today. It's actually right down there if you can see it. But I'm redoing this. That's for a new day. Well, I might tell you here in a little bit, but this is just a little shed me and my dad built, and this is just what I use. Sun's bright. We'll just start on this end, work our way down, check everything out, and then I'll come back and tell you what I'm doing up here. So I always take the Jeeps apart in that bay right there. Seems like radiators are the most awkward thing to carry, so I've always just kept them close to the shop right there. That way, just easy to carry. If you need one, there it is. And like I said, this is as low budget as it gets, but I've never spent mega thousands of dollars on storage, and that's like most junkyards use computers and stuff to keep up with everything. This is all in my head, so I keep up with, oh gosh, 600-700 Jeeps of what I've got, inventory, where it's at. When I first started, I could tell you, go look in a red Jeep on this row and look in the driver's seat, and there would be this part of that, but I kind of lost control, I'll be completely honest. So we'll just walk in here. This is something, I think it's actually some pallets that I semi-screwed together, nailed, they fell apart. I think it's actually ratchet strapped somewhere. That's just a random shelf. That's actually my test stand for 4.7, but we'll get on that another day. Then I just got some pieces of wood nailed to there to hold the drive shafts up. I mean, these are semi-organized. These are like, I'm trying to think. Those are Cherokees. That's why they're all missing. Everybody slings them out of there. Thinking more of these are ZJs, and maybe those are WJs. More two-wheel drive stuff. So yeah, it's not perfectly organized. I don't know if you could possibly organize all these to be exact specific in exact place. I mean, somebody could. I just don't have ways, so do the best I can. It does work. That's what, if you ever come by a drive shaft, I always tell you to measure from here to right here. Even if you got a Cherokee, if it's got a Dana 35 or it's got 8 1/4, it's different. So I need to know, plus 242, 231. You see where I'm going? Front drive shafts, I can't keep them. I used to have a wall full of them. Those are something out of a transmission my dad nailed up there. These down here, these are bad or could be rebuilt. So they're hanging out there for now. And like I said, I've got essentially one drive shaft. This don't always work, but usually if you'll measure from right there to the other weld, like a Cherokee automatic 4.0 is 19 inches where the manual's 18. For the most part, they never changed that or the slip. Even like that slip, I think it's the same length. So just basically measure from there to there, because the front drive shaft slides in and out and it's so hard to measure overall length. That's just how I've kept up with those. Some rotors, I think I actually turned most of those at my brother's machine shop. About run out of them. Just keep looking, there's window regulators hanging out. Some factory, I bought these little shelves or whatever you want to call it. There's no organization at all. I don't care to admit that. It's just piled on here. Speakers hanging out. I mean, I wish it was more organized, but at the end of the day, not trying to get too business related, but it being more organized does not necessarily mean I would make any more money. So I've learned what needs to be, you know, kind of put away properly and what can just lay on a shelf, and if you need it, come dig, find it, boom. This thing is some kind of old bread rack, maybe Wonder Bread. I really don't know, but those would be early 90s ZJs. I'm trying to think, those are 6, those are V8s. Those are 96, 7, 8. I can't keep them. There's probably maybe one good one. The rest of them are V8s. Those are very common to go out. ZJs, I was pulling them off when I started. It sucks so bad, I'm not going to get too technical on them, but those have skim module in the key, the gray key, and you have to keep up with the key and tumblers, skim module, and then what PCM it went with. Well, dummy here took them all, the PCMs off, and didn't write what Jeep it was, so now I have all these PCMs and don't know what Jeeps they go to. So screw up on my end. I'm learning, like right here. So you can see now I keep up with the PCM and then the key and then the skim module goes on there. So got a little smarter on that. Center caps, I've scrapped, maybe have a picture. I scrapped probably 50,000 pounds of aluminum wheels when that price come back up. So I got them on the website if you need any center caps. I should have about every center cap that ever you should need. This side is all my XJ stuff. Again, they seem to be, you know, sold out for the most part. These are randoms, and then those are some TCM stuff like that. And I've got these laid out. I'll take a picture and send to people, and then they ghost me. They don't ever get back with me. This side, I was keeping up with radios, and I've got boxes of aftermarket radios. And from time I grew up, radios was $200, $300, $400, $800. Now I'm ordering Bluetooth radios for $12. So it's not even worth buying. It's not even worth me taking these out anymore. Got a bunch of core 5-speed stuff. Some of them's actually good, some of them's bad. I'm saving them for I don't know what. I acquired a Dana 300. That'll be for a project one day. That's a Durango case, saving it for a project. And I don't even know what them are. There's a AX5. Hey, there's another AX. Fell off in a hole back there. Old bolt bin I had in the shop. Then on the wall, I try to keep bell housings, flex plates, stuff like that. One of the things that is very common is a XJ fan shroud. Well, they all get hard and brittle, and Rock Auto had them on sale for a cheap price, and I bought a bunch. This box was completely full, and I don't know how many's left. There's probably about 10 left, maybe. So just a business move, buy low, sell high. But I've sold quite a bit of them. This used to be double stacked, like from that to there, and I had them everywhere, of just 231s. Now I'm down to, this is the only one that will be sellable. I think that one's locked up, and that's a Dodge Dakota. 242s, got a few of those for WJs. WJs don't have a speed sensor, so always watch that. You can see the hole right there where it's casted, but it don't have it. Oh yeah, that's the Liberty case, never mind. Liberty has a different output shaft. You can see that one's a little smaller than that one. That was in a WJ, and luckily I caught it. Usually keep a few steering boxes laying there. Those are probably 249s. I had 10 on this wall right here. We added this on, so we just took the 10 down, but just some random dust covers, dust shields, more window regulars. Back to the no computer system. I just invented this other day, and it really helps me out. Used to, you'd come down here and grab one of these and try to figure out where it went, like which particular door. So I started doing driver, passenger, and then back, and then other passenger side. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a 3, which means it's a 1, 2, 3. So it's a driver rear. This will be a number 2, passenger front. I do that on rotors and stuff. My gosh, that saves me so much time, because I used to study them and then go up there and figure out it's wrong, but yep. Somebody ought to tell me what that transmission is. I know it's good, like very sought after, but I don't even know what it is. 4L80 maybe? Been saving it. Used to, this bay, that bay, and that bay was friggin' stacked from here back of motors and transmissions. I just took Jeeps apart quicker than I was selling stuff. Now I'm selling stuff quicker than I can take them apart. Kind of reverse roles. But now if you look, it's just cluttered. Used to is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you ever seen the record Jeep, maybe I'll throw a picture in. That's all I had. I didn't have any other way. So when you needed the motor 4 rows back, you was moving all 12, 16, 20 motors out to get the one in the very back. Very frustrating. But again, business, I stayed out of debt. Finally bought a SkyTrack, so eventually I'm gonna reorganize this, but gets the job done. They sell for the exact same price no matter how they're organized. It's funny, most of this stuff is ghosted stuff. Wanted a 2.4, I believe, ghosted me there. Ford, I'm not gonna go on that one, got ghosted there. These two luckily are mine. That one was a 5.9, got ghosted. That was a 5.2, same thing, got ghosted. That's a late model 3.7, got ghosted on it. And that's an early 3.7, got ghosted on it. It's one of the downfalls in junkyard business is, you ever notice when you go to them, they always have stuff sitting around like where you come to buy your parts. That's usually where somebody's on their way. So you go get it, bring it up there. You see where I'm going. That's one of the low pressure engines from a video. And then, I don't think nobody knows about that. I bought a rusty Cherokee 2001, and I assumed the motor was bad. I went to junk it out to get the transmission. It fired right up. The motor runs perfect. So that's probably a full drive swap for another day. Luckily, like I said, I got the SkyTrack. Now I can pick up the full shebang and bring it in. I can just swing it right back in there. Apologize about the light, but that's got basically this shop covered. Now this is just a little addition me and Dad added on here. And I think I actually was commenting today, my dad did the same thing with appliances that I do with Jeeps. So all these refrigerators get acquired by him. I can use them, but I mean, just look what a low buck operation this is. Oh, there's a wasp right there. One of my biggest enemies in junkyard work. Maybe he'll leave me alone. Oh, nope, dirt dauber. Yeah. Come on, buddy. There we go. He'll fall down eventually. So like just this refrigerator, I mean just random sensors. You just never know. Like this was coolant temperature sensors. This was air temperature sensors. This was TPS's, idler control valve. I'm trying to think, this is a big one here. Oil pressure sensors. So I got drawers full of them. Clean this out. This was full of coils. This is coil packs for 4.7. That's a mouse nest. Their biggest enemy. Coil pack, oil drivers, cam sensors. This is 5.2 V8 stuff. Cherokee crank sensors. I've got smart. I put all the crank sensors down here, and then you can just look for the plug that you need. And when you find the right plug, you pull the sensor out. Same thing here. Those are Grand Cherokees. You can see there's a different plug, so you would just pull it out. So that's about as low buck as that could possibly get. I don't remember what's on this side. It'll just be like that one's full of coils, transmission sensors, just random speed sensors. There's more speed sensors, ignition switch, valve bodies. I don't know why I got them out. Just absolutely low buck, no cost on nothing. That's what I'm sure I could spend $100,000 and build a nice, very organized storage shed. And if I charge the same money, it just wouldn't justify. So I'd have to go up on everything and then pay for the building. It's just my personal preference. Got some transmission lines hanging out there. Used to keep a lot of fuel pumps. They've kind of shied away. Got these boxes from an old job I had. These are just random engine accessory bolt-ons. This one, same thing, engine accessories. I do have these on my website. Those are the Cherokee fan hub. So I should have all of them on there. I've got them priced where I feel like they should be, but those are going to run out, and I don't know what we're going to do then. I mean, I've got a few of them, but they're going to run out. This box is full of alternators. This one is, I'm going to fill this box up one day of starters. Would anybody buy used starters if they say Chrysler on the side and they're tested? Like, I'll come down here and see a new one that's good, but if it's like an AutoZone or something, it'll go out in like a year. So even though it looks good, I know it's junk. AC compressors, I got all them memorized by year and all that stuff. And then power steering pumps. There's a 2.5, a couple headers, a couple manifolds. I mean, like I said, it's just very low budget. I even use light poles because my mom's work was giving those away instead of buying 4x4. So this one's kind of skinny. I'll try to walk down. I got intakes laid up here. They're on the website. I think I've got them priced pretty good, but I'd rather sell them and then end up having to scrap them. I've got them on the website. Actually, Newcomer Racing bought all of these that are 96, 7, and 8. But I'm sure I'll get more. Down here, just thermostats. I'm mounting the fan clutches. Those are some manifolds. If anybody knows if those are any good, those are some kind of custom headers for 01 Cherokee. Then back this way, got some electric fans, WJ electric fans. I actually keep up with belts, not necessarily to sell, but if you're doing a motor swap and you run across one that needs a belt, it's not worth me stopping what I'm doing to go to town. So finally figured out, put a zip tie, and you can see right by the zip tie I write what it's good for. So that helps there. Coil packs, oh my gosh, I've got mountains of coil packs. I need to be discounting those things and selling them in a bundle package. For some reason I stored dipsticks up there. Just a very low budget operation. And this aisle that I'm fixing to go down is why I'm redoing up there, and I'll explain that soon. Don't think there's nothing in these yet. Again, same self-employed, getting stuff done. These just kind of some junky distributors. I don't know where the door went, but that was a mistake. All these throttle bodies got rained on. Just a mistake, but yep, see right there? I think this thing is falling apart. If you look, try to zoom in back there. See how that's fell? Well, the ditch water started running through here, and when you see what's down there, you'll see why. This side, a few more fan clutches, horseshoe intake. I need to put these things on the website. Those break, and I don't even know if you can buy them new for $5.2. Diff cover. This side is valve covers and more throttle bodies and balancers. This top shelf, I'll be honest, I don't know what's up here. I never get up there. I know them's worth a mega fortune. I don't know what to do with them. See a sound bar, some AC lines, just some random stuff. I need to be selling these. I've got more of these and I don't know what to do with. There's some new parts somebody left in the Jeep that I probably won't ever use. Got some fuel injectors. I actually got a bunch of them somewhere else. I just moved them out of here. That's like, I actually do buy new parts myself. Those are sway bar links for a ZJ. You get tired of pulling bad ones off that are used. Those are like $3 off Rock Auto. So it's like, how many used ones do you want to pull off in hopes of getting a good one? So this is why I want to redo this. I had everything organized. I had all the gear ratios wrote out for low pinion, high pinion, short pinion, rear 44, 8 1/4. And for the most part, the ring and pinions have held on. But this got heavy, sunk the post into the ground, broke all this, so all these have shifted and fell. So you can see none of them are standing up, but it was so nice because I had every single one laid out where I could get to it. Like, I finally one day wrote down all my gear ratios, gear counts, and all that stuff. But it just didn't work out, so I'll be adding on up there and making this a little heavier duty, carry all this up there. That way I can rebrace this up and make this like more light duty stuff. It's part of self-employed. It doesn't actually pay money, but I know in the long run it'll be a smart decision. So it's on my list. Just make it happen. Yeah, you can see I started storing them on this side over here because I didn't have nothing to do with them. Plants growing, gotta kill that. But I had this cool idea to make a wall of yokes. It's a good idea, just haven't fully made that happen yet. I just seen that. It's one thing everybody thinks like that's a limited slip, but you can see the spiders are a no good right there. Everybody sees that I have like hundreds of Jeeps and assumes that I have lots of like aftermarket parts and cool stuff. I just have regular Jeeps with regular parts. It's just used stuff. I do have one of these fancy alternators for Jeep. So I think that's got all my content in there covered. And like I said, I'm gonna take all my heavy stuff, go up here. So there was a gap, and then I had another box truck right here, and then this one is just full of metal. So I'm gonna add on like another 10 foot. Hopefully, I'll go show you in just a second. I've got like a, it's like a weird side mount lift for a car. So I'm hoping all my dismantling I can do outside. But I wanna add on about 10 foot and then put that lift right there. Obviously need a little concrete. And then I gotta put a little walkway. That way I can roll my toolboxes from that shop. That way I can just keep using the same tools, go back and forth. Saving money. Go show you the lift. Well, a little dilemma, it's kind of growed up and I don't feel like wading out there, but that bolts to the ground and then that cylinder actually pulls. I gotta get it replaced. And it pulls a chain which pulls that yellow mast up. So it's literally like a forklift that's mounted to the ground. Because my 4-post lift, when I bring a Jeep in, I have to be long ways with the forks. It's kind of aggravating. This way, I can be sideways. You can just pull in from the side, pick it up, and then sit it down on those forks. Then take off what you need and come back and pick it back up. Sounds good. I hope it works out in theory. But let's go show you some more of my redneck ingenuity. Real quickly, I wanted to show you, that's my shop I work out of. It's a 40 by 80 with living quarters, so it's a little smaller. And then there's the buildings we was just looking at. Well, over here, this one's 40 by 80 with a 20 something lean-to and then a 20 something lean-to. So it's about 100 and give or take 10 foot by 80. But this is kind of my life. I promised myself I would never store Jeep parts in here. So I use it, but I try not to. This is gonna be like my shipping boxes, stuff like that. But I do admit, some of these motors I did for YouTube, I've kept in here, kept them out of the dry. But as far as keeping parts in here, I knew if I ever started, that's the motor for the lift. But if I ever started, this thing would be filled up in no time of just parts. So I just always tried to keep away from doing that. You may have noticed the axles laying right here. I'll touch on that soon because, again, where I started, I had the Jeep with a crane and I finally got a skid steer. All these things I've acquired over the years have really changed the game. But now for the even more rednecker part, if that's a word, I just got minivans. Bought these things. This had a window. Somebody with a rock bouncer kind of busted it out. But like this is all Cherokee and ZJ parts. Steering components, track bars, calipers, knuckles. A few more stuff up there. There's aftermarket parts. Could that be better? Yes, but cheap, really cheap. This one is dedicated to WJ parts. Same thing, steering. Got a few sway bars. Even got the bolts taped to them to sell. This one, these are all front axles and should be, unless somebody did them wrong. These are all the short ones this way, and then coming from the other side are all the long shafts. People come down here and mess it up for you, but that's just part of it. And again, somebody with a rock bouncer busted this window out. But these are all rear shafts, and I've usually got them labeled. Some of them I mess up, but these are items that I want to carry to the part that I'm adding on to get them out of the weather. Another minivan. I done forgot what's in this one. Somebody stole the shocks. Oh, drive shafts. So these are just some random drive shafts that I didn't figure nobody would buy. Usually like a one-off year of a Comanche or something, so it's probably in there. You just have to measure it. This one was full of transfer cases, like cores, bad ones. And that one's full of 5-speed parts. We don't have to walk over there. Right here I keep WJ hitches, and then under the bumper ones, that'll be ZJs, and then that is XJs. When Chrysler did the whole lawsuit with the gas tanks exploding, if you had a ZJ titled to your name, you could go to the dealership and they would bolt a trailer hitch on to keep it from exploding. So that pretty much cut my sales to nothing on trailer hitches for ZJs. A little bit of history. About the edge of that building to the edge of this building, back across the back of the minivan, there's a trailer you can see goes across there. And then maybe a tree line right down through there. For the most part, that was the edge of my property. So I was consistently just running out of room. Like when the junkyard was here, I had it dozed off like 3 times just because I didn't have nowhere to put the Jeeps. Luckily, I acquired that land. I'm hoping to acquire more. Time will tell, but if I didn't have that land, I honestly don't know where I would be because I had about 300 back here and it was just maxed out. So glad that happened, but now we'll show you the axles. Again, if you remember, I said my mom worked at a power company and I got these light poles for free. If you notice a ditch back there, this sometimes floods a little bit, so that was my thinking to get them off the ground. But you can see I kept mounting these things up. That one broke. I guess this one fell completely to the ground. That one broke. That one's still holding up. Those are good. And the end one broke. But I did have these. That was XJ front ends. Was XJ rear ends. Somewhere in here was possibly maybe WJ stuff. This has been years ago. I think I mixed ZJs and WJs up for some reason. And then over the years, this very end just become my junk core axles. So if I get a bad rear end or get a core back, which probably ain't gonna happen, or get a wreck, these are just piled up right here. Again, everyone you see, that wrecker Jeep up there, there's probably 100 here. I'm gonna say there's been, oh gosh, I wouldn't say 1,000, but probably 1,000 that's just been moved through here, sold, sit down. Wrecker Jeep has, it's paid for itself, we'll just say that. So down there, I learned my lesson. Instead of going the full length of the light pole, I've got all them on 10-foot centers. So we'll walk down there and kind of show you them. Those have worked out better. I want to move all this stuff, but oh, that's where I was going. I about forgot. I had to do all these because I had to use the wrecker Jeep. Well, now that I got skid steer and stuff, the ones that are common to sell, I can just sit them down. I just get them with a skid steer, sit them down, and I can pick them up from the side if I need to. Everything with equipment helps out so much. It does cost money, but it makes everything go so much quicker and just more efficient and all that kind of stuff. But again, I was doing what I could do with what I could afford. I'm not gonna bore you to death, but all of them are on 10-foot centers, and my gosh, that's gotta be 200 foot down there. But since I knew what I was doing when I built these, I've got room and I've got everything laid out exactly how it should be. So that's so much easier when you come down here looking for a part. It's usually where it should be at. But now with equipment, I think I got a better idea. Go show you that. So when the junkyard was over there, I knew it was going to have to be reorganized. I just didn't have equipment to do it. When I started getting equipment, I realized there was probably more efficient ways. And some people won't like this, but from my standpoint, it works out better. Now, usually I'll have the engine sold or the transmission, vice versa. But that's just free, semi-covered space. I had that hood up. I got that transmission sold. And then the axles, I just put them on the roof. So far, I haven't sold any roofs so far. But that way I know exactly what them come out of. It's just a whole lot easier to keep up with what's what and where it come from and such. But if you see a little tree line, that was the junkyard over there. And I'll try to do square footage and put up acreage over there. But now, I mean, you look, I've got all these spaced out. They just go and they go, and then way over there. And like I said, I'm hoping to acquire more land. I think I've got a picture. If you see, I'll walk over there closer, but this is just growed up. All this stuff right here was just trees and growth and just, let's not call them trees and offend nobody. It was just overgrowth. So it's never going to be timber. It was just, somebody will have to correct me on the word. I don't know, but I spent a lot of nights on the backhoe cleaning this off, getting it leveled out. I kind of like it. Then if you notice, I kind of left it open up here. That's where I started doing some leveling right there. That's where I was planning on building a shop to work out of, and then that shop up there be my personal shop. But with the economy and everything going up so much, I'm hoping what I just explained about the lift and sharing toolboxes, hopefully that'll get me by for a long time and I won't have to worry about that, but we will see. The Cherokees are going to keep on going. I hope I'm going to acquire them. That's where you can see I'm clearing that stuff off too. Well, you can see a little brush there. But I just kind of do that when I have time. It's not a necessity, but it needs to happen. And since I have a lot of Jeeps, I acquire a lot of stuff, and luckily I've got a lot of Jeeps to put the stuff in. Just like this one, it's not necessarily nothing very good, but it's just used lift kit parts. Some stuff's good, some stuff's bad. You know, what can sit on top sits on top. These are springs. I think there's another lift kit in there. So I've got stuff scattered around everywhere. There's a lift kit over there in a Durango, but I just use this for storage. And that's what one of the stories I use is when people would wander around down here. That one in particular, they come up and got like 4 sets of lower control arms and some other stuff and thought it was junk to me. Well, then they come up to the shop and they was wanting to give like $10 for all of it. I was like, that stuff's actually worth money. They just threw it down and left. So it's just the crappy people you deal with kind of ruin it for all of them, but it seems to be the going trend nowadays. I hate it, but it's just the way it is. You kind of notice in there, this one drives from the wrong side. I forgot I even had a wrong side Dana 30 right there. But I feel like that kind of gives you an idea of how I do things and what goes on around, and kind of operate on it's a big budget, low budget kind of thing, because obviously these cost money, but I spend it where it really needs to happen and not where it doesn't need to happen. So I'll get to the shop, I'll show you one thing, and then I'll let you go. Oh yeah, I about forgot, that's that box truck I was just telling you about. I moved it down here. I'm gonna show you all the tires and wheels. I'm gonna throw them in here, and this is where I come and sit a Jeep down on these light poles. That was just simply when COVID happened and all the converters spiked up. I built that and I sold a bunch. Oh, wrong gear. I sold a bunch of converters, but that paid for itself really quick. These are all aluminum wheels I've got stacked up. Some of them's good, some of them's scrap. You know, that's a good tire right there. That's better than working off of, I had forks on my backhoe at the time, but that's what that's there for. Hopefully that up there will replace using that, but we'll see. So you can see I got my lift arms, I'm repainting them, and then you can see all this powder. My floor, I just patched that, and like all this is sanded and ready to be re-epoxied. So I haven't been doing any videos in my shop. It's one of the reasons I was doing this kind of tour video. But I made a post the other day about some videos I could do outside the shop, and one of them was to do basically how I started my business, I guess you'd say, business advice. So that's why I'll probably do another video on that. That's why I was trying to leave it out this one. Anyway, appreciate it. Hope that gets a lot of stuff covered, clears up a lot of air. It's like I personally watch some other channels that show you content from the shop and you're just wondering what's going on around, like how everything works, but they don't see it as content, so they never do it. So it kind of sucks. You're just left wondering. So that's how I make a living. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, I reckon. Any other ideas, you know what to do.